Good evening and welcome to TDM Talk Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Wilhelm. Our guest this evening is Fanny Vong, the president of the Macau Institute for Tourism Studies. During her time in the role, Macau has experienced massive growth in its tourism and hospitality industries, prompting an ever stronger need for professionals in the sectors. And with the expansion of regional projects such as the Greater Bay Area, the Institute continues to diversify its offerings and increase its partnerships, providing the key element to a successful industry, its professionals. Thank you for being on the show.
Hello, Kelsey.
So from what I understand, you've been with the Institute for quite some time.
Yes.
You started originally in 1999?
That's correct.
And then you quickly progressed to become the Institute's president already by 2001.
Yes, that's right.
At the time, it was a much smaller institute because there was a much smaller need also. What has it been like going through this massive expansion and boom in Macau's tourism industry and having to provide these professionals for it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it is really a privilege to have experienced all that. As you said, when I first joined the Institute, it was a really small institute. And at that time, tourism was already important, but not like it is today. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's really a very, personal experience to have experienced all this growth, and we see that the Institute has been growing together with the industry in terms of its expanding its program offerings and also to supply talents to the industry. At the beginning, we were a very small institute. We had maybe just 1 or 2 degree programs, and then we had a student body of only maybe 200 something. We also had our professional arm at that time, but we had only around 500 students.
Okay.
Maybe less than 20 faculty altogether. But today we have grown to become quite a big institute. We have 2 parts to our institute. One part is in charge of degree offerings. In that part, we have around 1,700 students. And then our professional arm has grown also very phenomenally. Now every year we have around 20,000 participants taking part in different programs. Exactly.
What a change.
Our staff number has also expanded. Today we have around 350 staff, among which over 100 are faculty members.
Now, in terms of the facilities themselves, also, you initially started off with the Mongha campus and have now also more than doubled your facilities with the Taipei campus offerings. So, in terms of the growth, you mentioned that you started off with 2 degree programs. That's now expanded to 6. I hear that there's also a change of your charter. What does that mean for your offerings? Right.
So at the beginning, the 2 degree programs, to be exact, it was 2 high diploma programs, and then both would join to become 1 bachelor degree program. Okay. So from 1 bachelor degree program, we have now grown to offer 6 bachelor degree programs. But then more changes came. With our new charter, now we have more autonomy to offer beyond bachelor degree programs. Just this August, we launched our very first master degree programs. This is really a milestone for IFT because for many years we have seen the change in the industry, the expansion, the dire need for talents, the fights for talents, if I may use that. So we also know that there is a huge need for upgrading talents, upgrading people's skills and knowledge. So it is really very comforting to see IFT finally becoming one of the major players in the postgraduate programs related to tourism and hospitality. Besides master's programs, we are now also offering PhD degree programs because we believe we need a full-fledged set of programs in order to nurture talents for different levels of the organization. We also need academics. We need people to come back to the schools, to the institute or to other higher education institutions to share the knowledge, to teach, to train future professionals.
Now, IFT also has a research arm, and they've been very instrumental in publishing some of the research on some of the most important topics for Macau. For example, the Macau tourism carrying capacity. They did a study of that. They've done studies of that over the years, which have shown, luckily, an expanded capability for Macau handling tourists. Which also means that there's an expanded capability for IFT to train more people to handle that income in tourists. So in regards to the charter itself, the academic autonomy, did you choose to expand the master's degree program because there were specific requests, or are you starting the master's degree program to see if there will be more requests? Are you trying to create demand, or was the demand already there?
The demand was already there, Kelsey. As I said, throughout expansion, we see more and more expatriates joining the markets. But that is not enough, because at the end of the day, you really want local people to move up the career ladder. You also want local people to participate in the creation of a new tourism market for Macau. So we are very proud today that we're able to offer upgraded programs, our masters and PhDs, and different levels of management training programs to local people. But not only to local people, the charter also creates more opportunity for us for future expansion into the Greater Bay Area.
In regards to that, the Greater Bay Area is something that's been along on everyone's tongues, along with words such as upward mobility. Macau's role has been defined as being a leisure and tourism hub, but also in terms of your IFT's role within that is also as a training area for that. So you are involved in the Alliance for the Development of Macau into the Greater Bay Area's tourism education and training base. That involves cooperation with 9 higher education institutes and 3 government departments, only in Macau, correct? So what is the goal of that alliance? I understand that there are 4 or 5 main objectives. How can those be carried out?
Okay, so there was a recent announcement, of course, of the outline development plan for the Greater Bay Area.
Yes.
So everybody knows about that, but I'm not sure if everybody is aware that within that outline plan, there is already a positioning outlines for Macau, besides, of course, the positioning to be the World Center for Tourism and Leisure, or the service platform between Portuguese-speaking countries and China. But there is actually another one. It's for Macau to develop into the Greater Bay Area's tourism education and training base. Now, why Macau? I think if you look at the historical development of Macau's tourism education, you can see that Macau's tourism education has been growing in quantity and quality to suit or to match the needs of the industry. So over the years, Macau has gained some prestige in the international academia in regards to tourism education and training. I think our country recognizes that. We are very pleased to see that recognized in the outline development plan. So Macau has this very important mission to develop into an education and training base in tourism for Greater Bay Area. Now, one institute cannot do that alone. Although I'm proud to say that over the years, IFT has evolved to be one of the leading institutions in tourism education in Macau and in the Greater Bay Area. But one institute cannot do this grand project alone. So with the blessing and with the leadership of the Secretary for Social Affairs and Culture, Dr. Alexis Tam Jun Wing, IFT is assigned to be the coordinating unit to coordinating all other higher education institutions in Macau and 3 government departments, namely the Macau Government Tourism Office, and then we have the Higher Education Services Bureau, and also the Youth and Education Affairs Bureau. So together we form an alliance. And the mission of this alliance is to pool resources together, because among us, we have a lot of resources in tourism education. We have facilities, we have faculty, we have research capabilities, and we have other resources. So we have to pool resources together so that we can share our expertise in tourism education, our competitive advantage in training, to help the whole Greater Bay Area to develop talents to enhance its tourism industry. Because the final goal would be to develop the whole Greater Bay Area into a branded or a world-class tourism destination.
Now, obviously, the earlier you get someone, the longer you have to train them, the more quality you can get out of them by the time they finish their education per se. So can we expect, through this collaboration and through the need for Macau's development in that area and the need for talent, the desperate need for talent, can we expect to see tourism-related courses and hospitality-related courses being offered at a younger age, let's say in secondary school?
Oh yes, I think that is also a very good point. In fact, even before the whole GBA concepts, before the whole formation of the alliance, our institute has already been working with secondary schools Because we believe, yes, if you prolong the duration of training or exposure to tourism ideas and concepts, it is easier for individuals, right, to pick up those concepts and to perhaps to also develop some interest to pursue a future career in the field. So over the years, we have been collaborating with a number of high schools. So what we do is sometimes we would send teachers to them. We would bring some, knowledge and courses in tourism. Actually, some of these courses are part of their official curriculum. So students have a routine way of learning tourism. And then sometimes we would also invite them to come to the institute, to our training ground, to be exposed to practical experience in tourism, because there are a lot of hands-on practice to do. So this is a good way to start first creating awareness of the importance of tourism to Macau, creating awareness of what hospitality means, and then also to develop an interest among the young in pursuing a career in tourism in the future. So I think over the years we have been able to achieve some of these objectives.
Now you mentioned the hands-on experience being a key element. I mean, even something as supposedly simple as customer-client management can make or break an institution. But as a part of the 4-year bachelor course, there is a 6-month mandatory internship. Why did you feel that was necessary?
Oh, tourism is really a discipline that you cannot just study in a classroom. Tourism is an industry that involves a lot of human interaction, people-to-people interactions. Things that you can only learn when you talk to people, when you interact, when you receive complaints, when you feel down on certain days, but still you have to put on a smile. So all this can only be experienced and learned when you're out in the field. So we make it mandatory that in the 4-year study, students have to complete a 6-month mandatory internship. They can choose to do the internship in Macau, or they could also choose to go overseas. But the thing is, students have to look for the internship placements themselves. This is part of the training. This is part of the job search, pre-job search process. And we also want students to be committed. If you choose that placement, you better be committed. You have to show interest and dedication. So yes, this is a mandatory part. And after students return, we do see they mature. They mature in their thinking, in how they handle interpersonal relationship. When they come back to the classrooms, they ask smarter questions, and they're able to share their knowledge and their experience with their peers and faculty.
In regards to the alumni themselves, does IFT institutionally have a communication mechanism with the alumni to try and figure out the progressing needs of the industry, to try and see how to then adapt its own courses to better offer what's needed to teach the talent? Yes,
we have formed an Alumni Association. This is the first thing. And then we also do an annual tracking of our graduates. So after our graduates finish their studies, we would do a survey to see how their first job search is. But then after a few years, we also will go back to the alumni and we'll see how their career has been progressing. Along in the questionnaire, we'll also ask items like what they think about the curriculum, what they think about the experience they had with IFT. What changes would they like to see? So some of these ideas we will use, we pick up some of those ideas and we would incorporate in future review of the curriculum. And as we speak, we are already reviewing 1 or 2 programs that we're currently offering, one being heritage management. Because combining the comments of our alumni and also the needs of the evolving culture and creative industry, as well as the need for heritage preservation of the city, we decided, okay, I think we should add some elements related to culture and creative studies into the heritage management curriculum to enrich the contents, to make it more interesting, and also to nurture more well-rounded graduates. So it is still in the making, but this is the general direction to go.
When the students come to you, do they say, I want to be a hotel manager, I want to be a heritage expert, or do you find that they will enroll themselves in a program and discover what they want to be along the way?
We get that a lot, that we want to be hotel managers. Yes, but we tell them, no, hold on. First of all, you have to start from scratch. You have to learn the basics first. But we're very pleased to see that, in my perception, majority of students coming to IFT have quite a determination to serve in the hospitality industry or the wider tourism sector. They already have a preconception of certain careers, of certain professions in the hospitality industry that they're interested in. For example, I think maybe it's also because of young exposure to our programs, in high schools. They already got some ideas of what it's to be like, to work in a hotel or to work in an airline. So these students, they have certain features. They know they are maybe more sociable. They're more outgoing in personality. But of course, we also get different types of students, but we all welcome them because during the 4-year transformation, we see changes. Yes. And this is our business. It's to transform students, exactly. It's to transform students, to give them knowledge and skills so that they become individuals that they hope to be, and also, importantly, responsible citizens.
In regards to the continuing education, obviously some of the people will get involved in the industry, discover other aspects of the industry that they like and they would like to explore. Is that the point when they come back to you for continuing education?
Oh yes, they discover other sectors of the industry, or they want to go deeper into their own sector. They want to progress in their career, so that's why they come back. There is also a push demand from the industry because the industry is constantly asking for more.
Yes.
They are becoming more demanding in terms of quality of talents. So when they make promotion decisions, they always will have to look at the credentials of the individual, what credentials, and I would say academic background, professional training are important parts that they're looking at.
In regards to that, I mean, 20,000 people is not in any way a small number. What are the advantages for these people when they come and do your professional programs? Is this something along the lines of a certificate, an accreditation? How specifically does that work?
Now, we offer all sorts of professional training from a few days courses, a seminar, or a year-long certificates or 2-year diploma. We have all ranges. And this is to suit different needs of individuals coming back to seek these qualifications. Some, they are already well-positioned in the industry, like mid-level, top management. They come back maybe for 2-day refresher, kind of a workshop with prestigious professors that we invite from partner universities, right? Of course, they have a certificate, but I think what they want most is to update, to get to know what are the new trends in the industry. There are also beginners. Beginners come in to get certificates, get qualifications so that they can freshen up their CV for the next opportunity. And then there are also new job seekers, or they want to change to another sector of the industry. So that's why we have a wide range of professional training to cater to different needs.
In terms of, upward mobility has been a key expression that has been used before. In terms of the people coming and seeking additional training, additional understanding, additional certificates, are you seeing that there is enough talent and capably trained people to be assuming these upper management roles like the industry says it wants to have happen?
Well, the industry says never enough.
Yes. And
for us, I think, even if you come here, to IFT for some course, some refreshing courses or training programs, you have always to continue. It's about continuing education, continue lifelong learning, because things are changing. How you make, big case or small tasks like this, how you make strategic decisions, or new technology in the hospitality industry. All this required individuals to be alert, to come back and get new knowledge. So it's a very difficult question to answer. Enough or not enough? Quantity-wise, the industry says always not enough. Quality-wise, I would say you always have to upgrade.
In terms of the facilities themselves, obviously the type of campus was a major boon towards other training possibilities. You're still developing also the type of campus hotel, which is the practical application, practical hands-on experience for the students to be serving guests who are paying guests who have chosen to come to the hotel. But that was also something that had been instituted before at the Mong Ha campus with the educational hotel and educational restaurant. What is the progress now? I understand that quite a few people are anxious to see it reopen. When can we expect to see that happen?
Okay, so first, the Posada de Mong Ha. Now it is under renovation, and we want to give it a fresh look, but don't worry, we're keeping the cultural elements untouched. So we hope that the renovation can be completed by the first quarter of 2020, if everything goes well. Now, the other one, the other hotel in Taipei, on the Taipei campus, is destined to be kind of like for catering to families, because this building used to be the staff quarters of the University of Macau. We didn't want to make too much changes. So you know staff quarters, how they are like 2-bedroom apartments. We didn't want to make too much changes. So we just want to keep the most parts that we can keep. And so I think we are offering 2 hotels to 2 different market segments, as well as also offering 2 kinds of management and operational experience to our students, who in the future will be managing those hotels.
And obviously Macau itself is trying to reshape what it's looking for in terms of the visitor profile. They're looking for a higher market, more family-friendly activities, also going after the higher spending MICE visitor. So we're seeing a general transformation. In terms of the MICE offerings, also a lot of these hospitality companies are setting up bases in Hengqin. They're setting up things that will cater to the MICE customer as well as the family customer. What is IFT looking at Hengqin? How is it considering Hengqin in terms of its overall approach?
Yeah, so this has to link with the Greater Bay Area concept, as I was talking a while ago, that Macau's competitive edge in tourism education is quite well recognized in the region, not just within Macau and the Greater Bay Area. In fact, in most part of Asia Pacific, they know about tourism education, the quality of tourism education in Macau. So combining with the GBA concept, I think it is important for Macau tourism to take a step outside Macau, to go beyond Macau. And it would be very ideal if there is some kind of a physical base in Hengqin for Macau institutions to do that. That would be facilitating very much the mobility of, for example, mainland officials and mainland trainees to receive training in Hengqin by Macau professors or Macau trainers.
Now, are you envisioning something along the scale of a University of Macau, which is a very, very lofty project?
Well, I don't think we're envisioning a scale like that. But I think it is good to have something that is in proper scale, in a proper size, that can serve the purpose. I mean, sometimes you don't need big scale, large scale to serve a specific purpose. And now our specific purpose is to have a physical location in Hengqin so that we offer convenience to mainland trainees. As well, we'll be able to also offer opportunities for Macau students, right, to go to that base and be exposed to a variety of tourism assets that GBA has to offer, as well as different style of GBA hospitality. I think with comparison, students will open up the horizon. They will understand more about hospitality. They will understand more about diversity. So I think it serves really, the purpose of enhancing more closer collaboration between Macau and other GBA cities.
Speaking of diversity, what is the current student mixture in terms of a percentage of locals versus foreigners, and specifically of those, or from outside of Macau, specifically those coming from the mainland? Okay,
for our institute, majority of students are Macau residents. We do have a percentage of mainland students, not more than 25%. We also have a good mix of international students. And because we have a large international network, we're also very pleased that every semester we'll get students from our partner institutions, from Europe, from America, from Asia Pacific, from different parts of the world.
Now, each one of those students also brings with them their own individual viewpoints. And I understand recently there was an event in which 2 students decided to express themselves in a manner which was then later on deemed to be illegal. What does IFT have to say about that in regards to the students who went and decided to hold up signs in support of the, let's say, against police brutality in Hong Kong movement?
Yes, we respect students' rights, our freedom of speech, but we also always want to remind students that they have also to respect the law of Macau, also as well the rules and regulations of the institutes.
Does the police showed up on the scene? Does IFT know who called them?
We have no idea.
Okay.
Later on, we read from the newspaper that the police announced that they received a residents' report about, or a residents' call about the incidents.
Okay, so the call did not originate with IFT?
No, it was not from IFT.
Okay. Going forward, the institute was founded in 1995.
Yes.
So we're going to be seeing 20 years, and this is a huge growth so far. But it's not only the institute itself. You also set up quite a long time ago the Macau Occupational Skills Recognition System. What does that mean in terms of the students here, professionals here, and also how can that apply to the Greater Bay Area?
Okay, this is actually one of our major brands in the professional arm. The Macau Occupational Skills Recognition System was co-developed with the European Union back in 1999. They sent experts to assist us in developing a system of training and certification. So it's not just training, but it is certification. That is to recognize that somebody has already acquired some basic skills to enter an entry level of a certain occupation. Over time, we have taken this system and developed into a wider range of occupations, covering some 15 occupations in the hospitality and tourism industry. And it has become very widely recognized by the local industry. They support the system very much. They send trainees to us, and at the end of every year, they send good trainees to us to compete for gold pins. If they get gold pins, they get also promotion, all sorts of awards, including promotion. So this is how important, the kind of importance that industry attach to this system. We find this system successful in, first of all, really giving the basic skills, setting standards. First, it is important to set basic standards. What it takes to become, for example, a frontline receptionist, or a Chinese waiter, or a Western waitress. So we set, first of all, basic standards. And then we also progress those standards to supervisory skills. And then we recognize those standards, we certify them, and then we give them recognition. So this is a whole set of training, motivation, and then recognition. So individuals see value in the whole system. Managers and hotel owners, they also see value because this really helps them train, nurture talents. Because of the success, we take this system to the Greater Bay Area. We started off in 2009, even before the GBA concept. We partnered with a vocational school in Zhuhai, and today we have already trained up over 3,000 of their students. So we find this model works very well, and we plan to take this model to other cities and to replicate in other cities in GPA. And some we taught the cities. For other cities, they approach us. They heard about the system. They want to participate. They want us to bring the system to them. So I think this is a very good starting point amid other project ideas that we also have. So this is one thing that we can bring to GPA, but we are also planning on other types of training programs.
So do you just envision your life for the next couple of years of traveling around to 13 different cities on a regular basis?
We are already, Kelsey, we are already doing that. The next few years may be more traveling and more closer collaboration with GBA cities.
I know that it's not a direct feeling, but how much pressure do you feel from the industry to basically pump out these professionals of such high caliber and because the demand is so high? How much pressure are you specifically, individually under to do that?
A lot. But we have a very strong team. Our whole team is feeling pressure that we have to really nurture professionals, but we are very happy doing that because among those professionals are also Macau residents. And it's always happy to meet an alumni in a hotel, saying hello to you and telling you that, oh, now I'm working as a so-and-so manager in which department. So you feel that all the work, all the hours that you have put into work together with the faculty and our whole team it's all worth it. If you see, a happy face in a hotel, or a successful, a manager running a travel agency, or doing other kinds of work in the hospitality industry, you feel that you are really contributing to the development of industry. That you feel over the past 20 years you have been part of the propelling force to move the industry forward. And by moving the industry forward, you're also contributing to the growth of Macau.
If because everything happened so quickly, obviously there were certain steps that might have been skipped or could have been done a little bit better. If you had the chance to have changed anything in terms of Macau's development or the speed of Macau's development, what would you have changed?
This is really a difficult question. Yes, I think really to give more resources to education. The government is already doing that.
Yes.
A lot of resources to education sector. But just the demand is so high, right? So if there is really a thing to change, would be to give more resources in terms of like space, or also human resources. We also need human resources. We need to recruit, staff and faculty to run programs at this speed, at this magnitude, also this range. So I think resources.
All right. Well, hopefully we will see more of those in the near future. Thank you very much for being on the show and sharing your insight with us.
Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you again next time.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
That's all for this evening. Join us again next week for more TDM Talk Show. Thank you. Good night.